Good afternoon. Welcome back to the British Broadcasting thing. When last we left, our famous heroes were trapped in a hospital with lots of gas mask dummies.
Mummy,
And
Mummy,
no, not you again. And
Mummy,
Natty was being followed by the mysterious Jamie character.
Mummy.
Please stop that. No.
Hello,
welcome back to Outta 10.
I know you can.
My name is Winston, with me is Neville, and we're here to continue the incredibly cinematic and wonderful two-parter of The Empty Child. This episode is called The Doctor Dances. Why do we think it's called that, Neville?
Because it's implying that the Doctor dances.
Spoiler. Wow, why would you say something like that?
Well, I mean, if people are watching,
Can't believe you just spoiled it. Can't believe you just spoiled that. That's unbelievable.
Okay. Yeah, well, the thing is, like, he's been around for 900 years. What would make you think in all that time he hasn't danced?
Exactly. I mean, I've been alive 23 years and I've never danced.
I mean, it's interesting how dancing is used by Moffat in this episode as a kind of cheeky metaphor for sex.
Yes, it is. I mean, he's not going to... Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think graphically describing Captain Jack screwing army captains would probably not make it before the watershed.
Yeah, it's true.
But I don't know. Not the BBC's like these days. No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hate the BBC.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we just put sex in our shows to keep people watching. Am I right?
Yeah. So we were.
Great, my friends. Carry on.
Our overwhelming thought of the last episode was there's not actually an awful lot to say because it was all set up and all mystery and all atmosphere, which is perfect for a first part of an episode. But it was surprising how little.
Not perfect.
There was no revelation for the Doctor. It was all the Doctor being behind the curve and barely knowing what's going on. A lot like the beginning of the first part of the Aliens of London two-part.
They've got very
the Doctor being screwed around by everyone.
They've got very similar cliffhangers. I
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
It's in Davies' era. Almost every cliffhanger means that every character who you've got to know who is in a different location by the time of the cliffhanger is in a moment of peril. And I remember
about to die.
I think I remember it being when it got to Moffat, and a lot of my friends saying, "Oh, the cliffhangers are just not the same, are they?" Because I feel like the episode's already been wrapped up by the time it happens. Or like
that's probably a lot more like Old Who, isn't it? Where every part is sort of considered to be an episode on its own, rather than in these couple of series where it feels more like one whole story that's just been cut in half.
I see what you mean, yeah, because well, in Old Who as well, it's got the hilarious thing where sometimes, because of the cliffhanger format, they have to force a cliffhanger. And there's the hilarious example within McCoy's first series where, for no reason, he just climbs over the side of a cliff and hangs from it.
Is that famous thing about the diamonds hanging by his umbrella?
Yeah, exactly. And he it's in Clara Saves Him.
Yeah. Why does he do that?
I can't remember, but I think the idea is that he literally just gets down there to see if he can see anything.
That's really funny.
Oh yeah, it's a great episode. It is actually probably the best. No, it's definitely the best from that series. I mean, it is a 7. Okay. It is a really good episode, that episode, but it is that series is an absolute mess, and it's one of the worst series of Doctor ever. Probably the worst series that isn't Jodie Whittaker.
Interesting. It's funny you bring up the 7th Doctor, because I was thinking about 5 minutes ago. So I don't think we mentioned, but this two-parter, from what I can see, seems to be a lot like the 7th Doctor sort of stories of being like exceedingly creepy, like almost too creepy for what it is.
So if you watch episodes like which are absolute 9 out of 10s, Ghostlight, and especially The Curse of Fenric, which is also a World War II story. And these are two episodes which at the time were viewed in very high regard. And I remember when the whole VHS Doctor Who thing took off in the 90s, when people could finally rewatch the episodes for the first time, The Curse of Fenric became an absolute fan favourite. In Doctor Who polls, it still always features in the top 20 episodes ever. And McCoy's best stuff is incredibly creepy, especially because, in McCoy's stuff, it makes the Doctor scary as well, because you are behind the Doctor's curve the whole time. That guy's manipulating everything. They use the visual metaphor of chess. And I think that whole kind of trickster idea of the Doctor is really set up a bit by Tom Baker, but very solidified by McCoy. And that's really what goes on to inform Moffat's entire take on Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Especially
but not this one. Not Eccleston's Doctor.
But not
He's not really a trickster. He's more
behind the
very
curtain.
upfront.
Yeah, so it's more in terms of how it's informing this episode. Yeah, it's in tone and in the general creepiness of the characters and the kind of the boldness of it. McCoy's Doctor was also kind of looked down upon for being incredibly violent. Some of the stuff in it being incredibly violent, and
I mean, the Ninth Doctor is not exempt from that either.
Yeah, exactly, and being basically too old for the child audience. Some of what was going on. So, I mean, yeah, that is kind of carried on into here. And I mean, you've got companions like Rose, who are based, I think we've said this before, they're based on Ace. And,
but the Ninth Doctor is pretty, I mean, when you think about it now, he does seem quite scary. I mean, he's not like he's sort of half the time he's cheery, but half the time you think he's going to rip your head off, which is quite unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
But really good, obviously.
Yes, this kind of Rose Jodie Whittaker, you just think she's,
Yeah, if she was upset with you, she'd write you a post-it note and stick it on your door or something.
She's playing. She's like just playing in a sandbox.
What?
I don't know.
Shit, in a Ubisoft game. Anyway, no.
Well played.
No, that was rubbish.
Well, okay, but back to the episode.
Yes.
I just think it's really adopted on that kind of creepy tone. I do think that if you like Series 1 of Doctor Who, the best classic Who for you to watch is kind of McCoy era.
That surprises me.
Creep tone. Either that or John Pertwee for the Earth-centric nature of it. It's great
That's
stuff.
True.
Great stuff.
The thing I'm looking for most in this episode isn't the thing that I remember, is that it has an awful lot of sort of switching emotional tones. Because obviously there's a lot of horror elements in it, but it also has a lot of funny bits. Surprisingly funny.
A lot of warmth between the Doctor, Rose, and actually Jack now.
Yeah, Jack has a much better role in this episode. In the first one, he's basically made out to be an absolute arsehole.
Yeah,
and still continues to be a little bit. I mean, he's by no means gotten rid of,
isn't he?
But yeah, exactly. But yeah, I can't wait.
I think, I think what will stand out, and I felt this when I was younger as well, is that the two episodes feel tonally very, not completely different, but very different. This is how the first episode is incredibly fast paced. Comparably, this is slow paced. This is very Moffat.
I disagree.
Really, I just remember this.
Well, I think people move between events quite quickly in The Empty Child, but everything happens. It's almost surprisingly action packed in this episode. They're always running away from stuff because it's a constantly sort of expanding epidemic, essentially, and as it escalates. Yeah. But I agree. I mean, rightly so. They feel slightly different. It's again in a very similar way to the way the Aliens of London two-parter worked, where everyone was moving very quickly between scenes in the first part, and then the second part was confined, but everything was a bit mad. Everything going on.
Now, I know that historically speaking, your relationship with this two-parter is you think this part's a bit better than the last one?
I think it's splitting hairs. If I had to pick, I think this is the best. Well, it concludes the story. It has so many of Jack, Rose, and the Doctor's best moments. Okay. And it's really funny, it's really sweet, it's really scary. It's amazing how he balances those tones so well. That's something Moffat does very well later. I mean, he also screws up a lot later, but... Yeah,
but I mean, that's the thing that Moffat, when he does it well, is brilliant. So, an example being The Husbands of River Song, where I always felt that's such a great Moffat showcase, because the first third is ridiculous, the second third is a bit creepier, and the last third is just absolutely beautiful and lovely. You know what I mean? He goes through so many different tones in 1 hour, and I feel like his being able to do that is one of his biggest kind of things that he brings to screenwriting. Yeah, it's amazing.
So make no mistake, this is it's certainly one of my favourite episodes of all of Doctor Who. It's probably one of yours as well, I imagine.
I remember I always think of the first part of this as being better. So we'll see.
Well, no, I mean this story as a whole.
Oh, the two-parter, yeah, it's an absolute classic. You can't walk. I still think this is amazing. This episode. I mean, I'm kind of spoiling our feelings on it already, but come on, everyone knows this. Right. It's amazing.
Well, let's start then.
Hey. Oh, it's Chula Warships. Can you now please explain why it's called Chula? Because in the last episode, I was properly trying to bait you, and you wouldn't do it.
Why it's called Chula?
Yeah.
I've absolutely no idea.
you told me the other day it's based on an Indian restaurant.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was so trying to bait you last time.
Oh, I actually fully forgot about that. Yeah, because it's where Stephen Moffat, Mark Gatiss, and a bunch of other writers and producers when they came up with the idea for the episode, they were in an Indian restaurant called Chula, like the Chula. Indian
And they were
restaurant.
celebrating that they'd got the deal.
Yeah, the
Tomato
Russell
too.
had allowed it. So weird. It's a really cool name though.
It is cool.
Sounds
It's-
quite
I
sort
think-
of nice but weirdly sinister.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's like Al Kolobos or whatever it's called. That's a great name.
Right, shut up. That's not even
Make
funny.
you like him. I love the EastEnders vibe. You are so right. I think it is about making it feel a bit like Oliver, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
The same injuries.
Scarring on the back We
of
talk
the
about
gas
that.
mask seems to be fused
There's a lot of work into all the costumes and everything as well, for all these sets.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's a proper. They've gone all out on the World War II costume design. I tell you what, though, back in 2005, there's so much World War II stuff.
Well, this
made.
must have been the highest
Especially for
budget
kids as
for
well.
one of for the series.
I doubt it, because I reckon that a lot of these sets are sets that they use for all kinds of things for the BBC, because they're
Oh.
always doing wartime drama.
This
This
is
is so
brilliant.
classic. If oh no,
amazing.
I don't want. If he sent
So
me to my
sad.
room, I would be so.
You'd
so
be crushed.
I'm very,
Yeah.
very angry with you. I'm very, very cross.
He goes so posh.
Yeah. Oh,
To your room.
it makes you notice that, you know, because parents do actually just properly fake it, don't they?
He'd
They're
make a
not
great. He'd make a
angry.
great dad.
Yeah, he probably is a great dad.
He's still pointing.
Well, he's terrified. He's like, if I keep my arm here, maybe they'll go.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Oh Jesus Christ.
See, oh right. I was about to say that I thought Jamie would just go upstairs because that's his home.
Oh, Jack loves him. This face. Oh, that was brilliant.
Jack's just like, oh my goodness.
Oh, this is the best guy ever.
It's so sweet how Jack's first ever episode is just the Doctor uncocking up his cock up.
Yeah.
That's literally, this episode is just all Jack's fault, which is
Well,
so easy
and
to
it's
forget.
really hurts Jack because he feels so emasculated, weirdly, because obviously he's always, you know, the guy who knows everything. Now he's being put to shame.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
great.
big deal.
So great.
Oh, the Doctor, le Docteur danseurs Bastien Montfiat.
Yes, thank you.
So,
Oh, it's so sad.
Montfiat. Look at that shot. It's cool,
Oh,
interesting.
Jesus Christ.
That framing, separated by that little black line.
Mm. Why have they put like tape on their windows? Or is that part of the
Isn't
frame?
it? It's no, it's part of. I mean, that was part of it. What? The frame? No, it'll be bomb tape, isn't it? And they have to tape on their
Bomb
windows
tape.
to. Yeah, because it'll stop them coming out.
Don't worry,
if they've
these
got
bombs won't come through. We have this tape.
Yeah, but that's just a very English thing to say. You know.
Why are they all wearing gas masks?
There's Pompeii's nice if you want to make a vacation of it, though, but you got to set
Hey.
your alarm for volcano.
You've got to
Day.
try and avoid the pyrovals as well.
Yeah. Volcano Day. I love how he says it here, and then it comes back and fires
Getting
of
a hint of
Pompeii,
disapproval.
and then Volcano Day becomes a really
This is what
randomly
the
brought
piece of
up thing
harmless
throughout
space
Doctor
Joe
Who.
did.
It was a burnt out medical
so
transporter.
weird,
It was
honestly.
empty.
Oh.
Rose, it's volcano day.
How did he know the siren would go when he said that?
I wish.
Oh.
It's great time, isn't it?
At what point does Jack stop seeming pathetic? Because it hasn't happened yet.
No, he's still in this episode.
It's-
Um,
Yeah, I know. I want to know what it
it's
is.
in Bad Wolf, I think. It's probably actually, to be fair, in Boomtown where he starts being an absolute legend.
Hmm.
Imagine if you start thinking every child was Jamie. It'd be terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
I
Oh, no,
love
fat
it.
man.
Oh, it's another Uncle Vernon lookalike.
Yeah.
There's so many Uncle Vernon. There's so
know.
many great Uncle Vernons in this series. And they're all in the two-parters.
Let's find out. Get it open.
Oh, this is so cool.
Oh yeah, this
This.
is awesome.
Nothing.
Such an 80s
Did they ever
looking
use?
gun.
Did they ever use this again with River Song?
Sonic Blaster, 51st century.
Yes, she has it in Silence of the Library.
You've been to
She
the
does.
It helps
factory?
them
Okay.
escape, yeah.
Well, they're gone now.
Oh.
Destroyed. Main reactor.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
God.
then they go back in
Yeah.
Twice Upon a Time.
Once. There's a banana grove there now. I like bananas. Bananas are good.
Yes, they
Bananas
are.
are good. That's a bit like saying bow ties are cool.
That's a great BBC message for kids.
Yeah, great source
Putting in
of
a bit of
potassium.
a... Exactly.
She likes his big gun.
Ooh.
Yeah, am I right, Moffat?
This is
Yeah, this
excellent.
is I think the best part of the episode. This is amazing.
This is where our introduction guy was sitting when he was introducing our episode.
Powerful.
Yeah. Well played.
Powerful enough.
it
mad how we
kills me.
uncovered those tapes, isn't it?
I know. Christ knows, we had to piece them together. It was really horrible.
It
There's
was
bite
very
marks in them and everything.
Yeah, we've cut out all of the abusive comments.
It's great mixing the sort of the shell of an insane
Child?
prisoner
Does this
with it being a
explain his
child.
mummy?
How could a child do
It's
this?
genius, yeah.
Yeah.
Genius mixing of. It's very Arkham Asylum. This,
Yeah.
you know, like Warden Quincy Sharp's room and stuff like that.
Mm. Oh, good old Dr. Constantine.
Yeah, he's great.
Because he's lost his son, so he needs to help him.
Which is interesting because it's a bit like the whole Nancy has to help those kids because she's lost someone.
Yeah,
it's all about
exactly.
loss, and the Doctor is trying to heal people who've lost people, and obviously
That's what makes
Father's
this
Day
the end of
and
this episode.
Dalek are
Yeah.
all about loss, and that's the theme here.
And this, that is brilliant.
So that is what this episode,
Always
why
healing my
it
mummy.
all serves a purpose, even
Yeah.
if part one didn't seem to.
Why does
That's
he
why
know?
it all does.
Because it's a
Even the
big
one-off
switching point for the Doctor at the end of it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, this episode is really horrible.
And I
The
miss.
food on this table
It's an
is
awful lot of food, isn't it, Mr. Lloyd? A lot more than on anyone else's
Oh wow.
table.
Fat shaming in
Half the street thinks
2005.
Your missus must be
It's
messing
disgusting.
about with Mr.
The thing is, they used to have
Ellis.
Honey, I'm Killing the Kids back then, and I used to see my mum watching programs of, a normal looking child, and then they'd age them 40 years, and they'd say, yeah, they died at age
I'd like
32.
to use your bathroom before I leave.
You know, it was a different world, 2005.
There's the sweat on your brow.
There's the sweat on your... She smashes him, and he wipes it.
Brilliant.
Interesting how the whole thing about him messing around with the butcher. So again, it's getting the whole Russ T Davies. You know, the world is a lot gayer than you think.
Well, the butcher could be a woman. Come on.
Yeah, can't you see me? What's that noise?
Hurry up with Madame Croissants.
End of the tape. It ran out about 30 seconds ago.
Oh,
I'm here
all the slow
now.
zooms. I
Can't
hate
you
it.
see me?
Yeah,
I sent it
like
to you.
I said last episode, it's all about building that
This
little bit of
is its
tension,
room.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, how did it get there so quickly?
Oh.
That's the main thing that really freaks me out.
Mummy? No! Mummy!
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, the swap. That is then called back to in another World War II episode, Let's Kill Hitler. when he
Oh my
swapped
God, his
with the
jacket
Tom's
is a
gun.
dark. It is mauve. His jumper is a dark mauve.
It is, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big.
that's so brilliant.
I tell you why it's mauve. Rose, you want mauves? I'll show you the mauves.
That was not even a good joke, but well done.
But
That sound effect for the punch. It's like they're in Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Sonic what? Screwdriver!
Eccleston has to be so different in this episode because of the way Moffat writes him. It's much more Matt Smithy, isn't it?
Mm.
It's very strange. Still works, but...
For gratitude.
Gratitude.
Gratitude!
It's the special features. They really drain the battery.
This is such cool. Special features.
That's so great.
So that.
They, back in 2005... they
What
said
else
special
is it? What else
features,
is it
and then
to,
later
Jack?
on they'll say apps.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's how it
To have.
means. That's basically how we communicate.
Well, I've got a banana, and in a pinch, you could put up some shelves.
Ooh, what are you gonna do with the banana,
What's your
Jack?
drop outside
Banana.
stories?
Stop it.
Well, the assets conversation.
Jack just disappeared.
This is brilliant.
Typical,
It's so creepy. Isn't it?
typical
Yeah,
man.
no, 'cause when I
Gets
first
what he
watched
wants
it-
and then leaves.
Yeah. He's take.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I actually thought that
What all are
he
you doing
wasn't
here?
really there.
Did this every night.
The whole time, and they'd imagined him. I was like, what?
I didn't. I knew you'd come back for us.
Oh, he's sweet.
Why are you emptying on the
Found the whole
floor?
thing in the junk. Thinks he can write now.
Yeah, but this is way
The letter
before,
to
like,
Dad.
you know,
You don't even know
health and
where
safety
your dad
exists.
is.
It's World War
How are you
II.
gonna send it? I don't know, stick it in an envelope. You can't even read or write. I don't need to. I've got a machine.
Will you stop making that noise? I'm sorry, Jim.
She has to really
On
apologise
you
now.
go. You write a letter to
You
Dad
write a letter if you want to. That's it. Oh, it's so sweet because you know what? She understands the importance of that. Everyone's having a tough
I know we
time,
should
you
have
know.
been somewhere.
Wartime spirit.
We need you, see, for the thinking.
And what if I wasn't here? What if one night I didn't come back for you? There's a war on. People go out. They don't
When I
always
say there's a
come
war
back.
on,
It
it's so
happens.
like
What would you
nonchalant.
do then?
Yeah.
My
When are they
dinner's
going
on.
to turn this bloody war off?
Yeah.
The racket's killing me.
Yeah.
Wire cutters.
So who's typing?
Oh,
Oh no, no.
yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's vanished into thin air. Why is it always the great-looking ones who do that?
I'm making an effort not to be insulted.
I mean,
What are you saying about Chris Eccleston? That's so harsh.
Oh, it's not that good. Like.
That's brilliant.
The child can on-com too.
you can.
Anything with a speaker grill. Even the
Yeah,
TV
like a
phone.
typewriter.
What, you mean the child can phone us?
Yeah. Oh, so
Why?
good. That's what my like little
can you hear
cousin. His voice sounds a bit like
Try
that.
to block
Oh
out the
jeez, that must be
least I
horrible.
can do.
No, it's not scary. It's just 'cause
No,
it's
but
like,
if he says,
it's
I'm
a
coming to
cute-
find you!
It's a cute kid's voice, isn't it?
Oh, classic World War II
Oh,
song that
it's
everyone
that
knows.
song.
Yeah,
Song.
it's that one song no one knows the name of.
By your window, go.
It's a beautiful. Oh, it's the K9 level.
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned that last week, I forgot.
Yeah, no, I just can't believe that I'd never known that you'd played those.
How have we
games.
never talked about that in all
We
the
still
time we've
haven't
known
actually.
each other?
We still haven't actually discussed it off podcast.
We
yet.
could.
In
We'll have
real
to talk
life.
about it in the finale. That's when it all comes in.
You don't think he's coming back,
This
do you?
is very like in
Yeah,
Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
where
Why
they have
don't
to
you
do it for the,
trust him?
Why do
for
you?
the door.
Saved my life. Bloke-wise, I sat there with flossing.
That's brilliant.
Flossing, yeah. Men don't floss that much.
You should
do
floss
they?
more.
Trust him because he's like you.
Yeah.
Except with
Battle Royale.
dating and dancing.
Fucking hell.
You got the moves? Show me your moves.
Oh,
It's a really
that's
nice
so
scene.
sweet.
Rose,
Yeah.
I'm trying to resonate concrete.
So it does it really well.
Yeah, I'm
Good
trying to
job of-
resonate concrete. He's such a
The world
geek.
doesn't end
Such a
till
typical
you're
bloke
dancing.
response. Honey, I'm putting up a shelf. Honey, I'm busy
Is-
resonating concrete.
Is resonating concrete just another word of saying I'm trying to get hard?
Barrage balloon.
What?
You were hanging from a barrage balloon.
Oh, yeah.
That's no.
Thousands of feet above London.
Oh
middle of
man,
Germany.
you couldn't resonate concrete to save your life.
I've travelled a
Jesus
lot.
Christ, that's horrible.
You're setting new records for
Oh, is that why the sonic screwdriver has a blue light on
This is
it?
you dancing, 'cause
What's
I've
that?
got notes.
No, don't
hanging
worry.
from a rope? If ever he was a captain, he's been defrocked.
Yeah? Shame I missed that.
Actually, I quit.
This is their first properly flirting scene.
Yeah.
Like outward flirting, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
You guys are so sweet.
She's having the best
Sorry
time.
about the
She's
delay.
like, take me to World War II
Now
every
I'm
day.
offline. Woke up one morning when I was still working for them. Found they'd stolen 2 years of my memories. I'd like them back.
They saw
You need to
your
do a time
moves.
heist.
Chin her up where Jenkins can keep an eye
Oh, it's
Oh,
Michael
this guy.
McIntyre. He looks so
Yeah.
much like Michael McIntyre.
He does. It's really weird. I hate this shit because this guy looks terrifying as it is.
restricted area,
Look at
miss.
him. He looks like a teddy
Sit
bear.
here for a bit.
It's really weird.
We're going to have to ask you a few questions.
He should keep his problems in his man drawer.
Professional.
Oh.
Didn't
Wow.
just drop in by act. Watch her, Jenkins.
Yes, Mummy.
The thing is, he's been sleeping with thingy.
Jenkins.
Sorry.
The
Have you
thing
ever
is,
done that?
that's
Have you ever
the thing,
accidentally
yeah.
called someone mummy?
What's the matter with
Teachers all the time.
Really?
Apparently, it's very common.
I've
to
heard that's
happen
the thing
to
as well.
young
I've never
teachers.
done that.
You'll be alright, miss.
It'd be-
Mostly because all of my teachers have been really ugly and horrible. I was like, no, jeez.
I did it in year 13.
So with you.
It was so embarrassing. But it's
Wow.
one of those
Were you
things where...
daydreaming?
No, it's just one of those things where...
Mummy, what?
Oh, yes.
What?
Well, it's got to do with anything.
Oh, so good.
Oh,
He's got like
Jesus.
2 sets of teeth.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
yes, using the music.
So
the
great,
classic.
such great music.
It's the classic trio now. Look at
Yeah.
them walking towards that
It
camera.
is.
Yeah, here they are.
Union
it's
Jack
taken
trilogy.
us time, but we are here. Oh my! I promise you, all the hairs have just stood up on my leg.
Yeah.
Looking at them now.
God, heading in my general direction.
I don't think that'd be such a good idea.
Don't worry, I can handle it.
I've gotten to know Algie quite well since
Ooh,
I've been
have
in
you?
town. Trust me. You're not as tight.
Isn't algae how Americans say algae?
Oh, yeah, what's he saying?
Yeah.
You're microscopic bacteria who hide in lakes.
Yeah. Got to know very well.
It's a very layered
Just
insult.
a bit more flexible.
That's our mission. We seek new life and
Fuck it.
Strictly cum dancing.
Okay.
How's it hanging? Algie, old sport, it's me.
Old sport.
Old
It's
sport.
me, Jack. Jack.
I didn't realise he said old sport. That's so
Yeah.
weird. It's because he's of the time though, right? And he's trying to fit in.
Are you my mummy? Yeah, you probably is his mummy. Who knows? The
I
amount
don't
of
know
foreign
what they-
species he's procreated
I don't know
with,
what
God knows.
they get up to. You know what I mean? Maybe that's
Oh.
what they like doing in the bedroom. Whether
Does that mean Jack's probably like a father to some weird like frog person
You men, stay away!
somewhere in the universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must
You
be
know.
weird.
Then every episode in the series has got a great side
Yeah.
character. Everyone.
Oh, this is all brilliant.
Because even Clive's good,
Just an
you know.
ambulance.
This is one of like the smartest like
Hard to explain.
sort of solutions to a Doctor Who problem.
It's from another
All this
world.
stuff. I love it.
They've been trying to get in.
Sorry, I'm
course
just
they
getting excited.
I think they've got their hands
That's
on
right.
Henry's
It's
legacy.
also beautifully tied together.
do?
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Sooner you
That's,
see
that's
this thing
why
is empty, the
the
sooner
story
you
that
know it had
wraps
nothing
up
to do
itself
with
very
Yeah,
neatly.
there's so many plot threads they set up in the first one that are so all over
Yeah.
the place.
Which is why the first one is, like I said, hard to talk about because you need that second
Oh, it's the
part.
classic siren that they use all the time. They use it on the Earth satellite at end of the world.
Oh yeah.
Mummy.
Damn.
I don't believe it. Sorry, every time I see it.
He's
Yeah.
so into it. He's like, that barbed wire, that there will make a difference. Are you serious? This is ridiculous.
No, let's hope they don't have any small scissors.
This is what you call pointless busy
Just
work.
told me that.
Nancy, the Germans don't come here. They don't win.
I love the
Oh.
idea if she does this now, then the Reapers turn up because she fucks it up.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I tell
Rose,
ya.
why don't you stop? I said
Oh
you
my
that
God,
barbed
Rose,
wire
I can't
so
leave you with
couldn't
anyone.
ruin anything again. You keep ruining things. Oh, you ruined World War II for everyone. Thank you.
We're having such fun.
Bandages? There was enough nanogenes in there to rebuild a species.
Oh, he's so angry.
We're getting
Oh,
it now,
God.
are we? When the ship crashes, the nanogenes escape. Billions of
Oh, it's so
villains are
sad how
ready
Jack's...
to fix
Because
all
Jack's
the
one of the
cuts
coolest
and
people in
bruises
Doctor
the
Who,
whole
but the
world.
whole first episode
What
is
they
just
find
being
first.
like,
That is
you
so
are a
embarrassing.
loser. You-
Probably
it's
killed
just
Earth.
It's like when you're so
embarrassment.
convinced you're right and then someone shows you you're wrong, you're just like, oh no, I'm going to have to
Oh,
explain
no.
this to everyone I know.
Yeah, because you've been saying for sure. No, for sure. She's definitely
Yeah.
called
Nothing to a nanogen.
Billy Piperier.
These nanogenes
Definitely her
Piperier.
name. Definitely Billy
This lot I've never seen a
Piperier.
human
And then someone's
being
like,
before.
shows you
Don't know
Billy
what a
Piper,
human
and you're
being's
like,
supposed to
oh
look
damn.
And nothing in the world can stop it.
I didn't know.
Such a childish answer. I didn't know.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me, yeah. I didn't mean it.
I take no responsibility for this.
Oh. It's just like the beast below, the Doctor's right, all of you people, you're useless.
Yeah.
What is the Doctor doing?
You know how they got in? They literally,
He broke the barbed wire.
I like to think that when Rose was having her little jingoistic moment, that she
He just walked past.
Yeah, they just walked past.
That's most people here, isn't it?
It's my fault.
No.
He wings it.
It is. It's all my fault.
How can it be your
Oh, it's so beautiful the moment between them. It feels so
Yeah.
like Eccleston Stardom though, like it being like a really domestic problem that he's got to fix.
Yeah.
I don't know if do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I
What
could see
age?
this on any Eccleston thing that he's done.
He's not your brother, is he?
Oh,
Teenage
it's
single
because
mother in
and it's because of the
1941.
shame at the time. Is what's
Yeah,
made all
exactly.
this happen. If
Lied.
people in society were nicer to one
Even
another,
lied to him.
Yeah.
this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Which makes you just so angry, doesn't it? Oh, he kicked that down. This guy's not absolute. He's just.
That barbed wire didn't know what hit
I
him.
will break you, Doctor.
He's never gonna stop.
Wow.
Nancy is a booha.
Shut up.
It's Spanish.
Nancy,
Tell the ladies and gentlemen what that means.
the future of the human
What,
race
Spanish
is
for
in your
which?
hands.
There you go.
Trust me.
Yeah.
And tell him.
Oh, this is lovely.
Trust me, I'm the Doctor.
Are you my mummy?
Oh, she has to face up for it.
Mummy?
She has to accept responsibility. And
Are you
all,
my
I mean,
mummy?
Dalek, Father's Day, this,
Yes,
they've all been
I
about
am
characters
your mummy.
accepting responsibility.
Mummy?
Same as Jack,
Yeah.
by the way. Jack has to accept responsibility as well.
I'm here.
Damn.
Are you my mummy?
I'm so sorry.
She is so good in this. If she never was in anything else again, she has done her part for all of her life, this actress.
Doctor has changed no wish.
Like, how did this
Come on,
two-parter
please.
become sad?
I know,
Come
exactly.
on, you clever little nanogenes, figure it out.
It hasn't had this tone at all, and now I'm here.
The mother. She's the mother. Give me a day like this.
This is like the first payoff
Give me
of the
this
whole
one.
series, this bit.
I mean, and the irony that it's
Yeah.
in World War II.
Yeah.
Everyone lives. And it's like the biggest war that we know as humans, so that's kind of the
Yeah.
time war equivalent.
Yeah.
Welcome back! 20 years to pop music. You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it. Who do you think
The
you'll like?
nanogenes recognize the superior information. The
Yeah,
power
probably
of
Rolling
DNA.
Stones.
They didn't change
It's gonna be a
you.
typical.
You changed them.
Yeah.
Mother knows best.
Probably like Black Sabbath, what with the gas mask and stuff.
Taking care of it.
How?
Oh.
Psychology.
Oh.
Psychology took care of it, right?
so
Freud,
happy.
am I right? Yeah.
Oh,
And it's technically a twist because you think that Jack's been cowardly and left.
yeah.
His shit looks so much like the Aliens of London shit.
It does, yeah. I was just
It
about
looks
to say.
almost the same.
The music in this episode just kills me.
This episode is as good as the first part. I'm really sorry that I've been saying it for
Software
years. It's
patch.
not.
Gonna email the upgrade.
It's just different.
You want moves, Rose? I'll give you moves.
This bit's so awkward, but it's not.
No, it's so it is really.
It feels really out of character for him because of what because what the Night Doctor's like.
Yeah. No, but it's such a nice moment for him.
Just this once. Everybody lives.
Aww, he's so happy.
Yeah. Well, he gets to do what he couldn't do for his people,
Never
so.
left his patients.
Yeah.
Back on your feet, Constant Doctor.
He finally sees
Obviously
a
wanna
reason.
get by without
This
you
is when he
just
sees
yet,
the
and I don't
reason
blame
to
him one
keep
bit.
going.
Yeah.
These are your patients. All in all things considered, fantastic.
Look at you beaming away like your Father Christmas.
Now he's
Says
using
I'm not
fantastic
red
again. Here
bicycle
we
when
go.
you
What?
Everybody lives, Rose.
Red bicycle when
Everybody
you were
lives.
12.
It's kind of weird because that means he's like researched her.
Ask me anything. I'm on
Yeah.
fire.
Oh.
What about Jack? Why did he say goodbye?
Oh.
Again, Rose
And the-
forcing the Doctor to do something nice.
Well, I genuinely think that he wouldn't have saved Jack, but then
No,
she
yeah, yeah, I agree.
But then she reminds him that everyone has to live, and he has to
Yeah.
think, right, for this to be a true victory, I have to save him even if I don't want to.
He probably knows that he'll have to take him with him. He's like, oh my god, he's so annoying.
Yeah, and he's so much hotter than me.
I mean, that's debatable, but whatever.
There is no escape pod on board.
You're Team Chris, aren't you? And I'm Team John.
There is no escape
Obviously.
pod on board.
Oh, classic.
Oh.
Classic alcoholic.
Yeah, he's so cool because he's debaucherous.
Ooh, a little too much vermouth. If I come here again.
Wow. He's laughing at his own jokes, that's good.
Last time
It would
I
be
was
good to
sentenced
check
death,
if that
I
cocktail
ordered
is the
4
same one he has when he meets Alonso.
breakfast.
It's a very
I'll
Doctor Who
blur
thing
after
to do.
that.
Good point. Well, they don't actually say what
Couple
cocktail it is. All we know is it has
execution.
vermouth in it, so it could be anything. Oh,
Anyway,
this is a really useful scene. This is the scene where we
Thanks for
like
everything,
suddenly can actually like him properly.
it's been great.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
is an
whole
excellent
bit is very important for liking him, and that shot is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Because they would have had to actually build the Jack set just outside.
Yeah,
So
Right.
cool. Oh, he's dancing.
yeah. Oh, it's so nice.
Turn.
It's a nice
cool
how
how he
Thomas
gets,
is
like-
doing the round things.
Yeah, he gets the round
Nice.
things to like that, yeah.
But this
Yeah.
time, don't get my arm at my back. No extra points for a half Nelson.
You used to know this stuff. Close the door, will you? Your ship's about to blow up. There's going to be a draft. Welcome
There were
to
lots
the
of drafts in the 1940s.
Much bigger on the inside.
It better be.
I think
Oh,
what
that's
the doctors
brilliant.
try and say is, you may cut in.
Rose, I've just remembered.
What?
I can dance.
It's so awkward. Jack's
Actually,
just like,
Doctor,
why am I here?
I thought Jack might like this dance.
I'm sure he would, Rose.
I'm sure he would.
Absolutely certain. But who with?
Ah, tongue-in-cheek Rusty Davies' acknowledgement of this guy.
Oh.
This is when Jack just starts dancing with those little sponge things on the rails.
Oh. Well, he'll procreate with anything, so he'll just start hugging the TARDIS. Oh. This
Ah.
is probably weird.
Yeah, but it's just them, they just so happy to be with each other. They're so natural
Yeah.
to each other.
It's a bit awkward that Jack's
The
there,
foot
though, but, you know,
dancing
whatever.
moves that she just did are a lot like the ones that Mickey does in Rose, episode 1.
Oh no. He's been watching Mickey.
Such a nice day.
Oh, next week's gonna kill us.
Oh, I can't wait.
The fact that they come back is just what?
It's important. It gives the series like an overall, more of an
It
overall
does,
vibe by bringing
but
them back.
it's not by any means the first villain you think of to be the one that returns for a one-off.
What of all of the new ones?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Cassandra comes back very soon after she's in it as well.
Considering this is about the Rift, you'd expect it to be the gals, wouldn't you?
Yeah, good point. But they'd still be gals.
So weird. Yeah, I'm going to stop watching that next time then, because again, as usual, it's too much. Oh, what
Albert
an absolute
Valentine
film
played
of an
the child.
episode.
Yeah, pretty solid.
What do you mean a pretty solid? Bloody marvellous.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I think my like kind of level for Doctor Who has like risen up massively by watching this series. Like, it's easy to forget that
Amazing.
it can be this consistently unmissable.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last so if we take Aliens of London as an overall 9, it means like we've only had 2 things in the series that are below a 9.
Yeah. Is that what? Is The Unquiet Dead and
Which was an 8.
Long Game?
Long
which
Game
was
was
a 7.
yeah.
Very true. Yeah. This
Unbelievable.
episode is so. We start to talk about it later on in the episode, but it's surprising how important this is to the Doctor's like change of heart throughout the series, and especially how Rose plays a part in it. Because I know that obviously the dancing thing is a part, but it's also about how Rose is getting him to, loosen up and become happy again. And this episode is all about that.
It is definitely after this episode. So when you move on to the next episode, as a
he's brightened up a lot.
Well, and you can see in your mind that he won't regenerate soon, but that his first arc has ended, and now you get basically just Eccleston in his stride doing just for Doctor now. You know what David?
You get one episode of it, and then it gets taken away.
Yeah, but it's true, isn't it? The next episode is the first one where the dark arc isn't there as much.
Yeah, but it gets challenged in that episode. So it's good that we get one episode next week that lets you see what he's like normally, and he's nice to Mickey. So yeah, this episode's like obviously they have been building up to it. It's not at this point. It's not like this episode. It suddenly changes. Like this is sort of the kind of turning point for the Doctor as a character, which is so great.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. And Rose and Jack are also top quality. Jack's so great. He is one of the best companions ever.
He's got a genuinely really interesting character, interesting backstory. He's from a different planet.
Yeah.
Like, he's really out there.
He was much more of a failure in this episode than I remember. Because he's still really cool, but he's also a massive screw-up the whole way through. It's great.
So
he also acts like such a child.
I was going to say, Nancy, who... are you my Jackie? I don't know. Nancy, who in this, played by Florence Hoth. And she was, like, in quite a lot of stuff as, like, a kind of young actress. When she was, in her teenager years, and then which I guess is quite important if you're regarding what she represents in this episode as like a young mum. And then she's not really in much else. She's in some episodes of Doctors. She's in Lost in Austin, which was quite a big deal at the time.
That's just because she turned up to the wrong interview. She was meant to be going to Doctor Who.
Yeah, well, she was in Lost in Austin, and then with Hugh Bonneville, and then and Alex Kingston.
She's with Alex Kingston? Well, really? In what?
That's what I'm saying in Lost in Austin.
Oh, right, that's what that is.
Which was,
I've never seen it.
It's about someone who loves Jane Austen novels, and then she accidentally gets sucked into them. I think she gets sucked into Pride and Prejudice.
Isn't that just the film Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah, it's very strange. Gemma Arterton's in it as well, and Lindsay Duncan, who is the woman in Waters of Mars. Very weird thing. Obviously, Gemma Arterton's the Bond girl from Quantum of Solace. So,
which one?
The one who gets covered in oil.
Oh God, okay.
Anyway, and then after that, she's not in anything again. I think she probably just I'm going to check if she's still alive. I think she is. I think she just quits acting.
I think she probably is. She was only in her 20s in the early 2000s. I'm sure. She's still alive.
She was 21 when she made this episode, so she was younger than us.
Well, she was playing a 21-year-old.
No, she was 21 in real life.
Oh, she was. Okay.
When she made the Empty Charge, she was 21 years old.
Right.
Which, goodness, she does look older than 21, and which I guess is hair and makeup and what she's wearing as well.
Well, she's in a war.
Yeah,
she's going to be a little bit battered. Yeah.
Yeah, but
like a
yeah,
fish.
she's fantastic. The bit where she says, "Yes, I am your mummy," is so sad, and you really feel like she is like a mum. You
Yeah.
really get a real mum vibe from it. I know it's a
Yeah.
ridiculous thing to praise.
We got
but-
real mum vibes from it. No,
No,
but it's
but
great,
she
and it
just
also
seems like
pairs
such a
really
mum.
well with the sort of because when I first watched it, it feels like it's not going to work, and she's going to get murdered horribly by the child because he doesn't know.
Hmm.
So it's really nice that it does feel completely like everything's failed until the last moment, which is so nice.
It does seem
Oh,
so
everything
hopeless.
about this
Especially like
episode is-
like when Michael McIntyre becomes the thing, and
Yeah, that is hot. That is the scariest part of the episode.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
it's horrible. I think the second scariest. I think the scariest moment is the bit in the child's room because, like you say, the way it's using the kind of a classic lunatic asylum trope of the writing on the walls but making it a child.
Yeah. Oh.
Very, very
No.
unsettling. And
Yeah.
the thing is, you got to remember as well, like it's about take it as a children's show. And what Moffat's
Yeah.
doing is he's making the children themselves scary, which is why it's genius to give them the mummy catchphrase. Because I remember at school, everyone used to go around doing it for a little bit after this. This episode was honestly a cultural landmark at the time, and it was the first. The Slovene one had this to a lesser extent with the the iconic opening of the foreheads.
Well, it was
And
more for comic
and-
relief.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, the Slovene episode is still quite scary.
No, I mean in
Yeah.
terms of that effect on people.
Yeah, people loved it. But they
Yeah.
thought it was fun. But then this really unsettled people around the country. It was a huge
Yeah.
deal. This episode was really then the episode that showed people that Doctor Who could be what it was in classic Who. In terms
It's
of
probably
making...
It might be the most famous two-parter from the series in terms of normal, apart from like not including Doctor Who fans.
Apart from Dalek, I'd
I'm
argue.
not even sure.
It's
really?
the most. Apart from Dalek, I'd argue it's the most famous thing in the series. Definitely. Probably it could.
I think it might be more because of the
It might be
mask,
more
the gas
famous.
mask thing. It might
Yeah.
be more famous than
Yeah, it might-
the
it
Are
might
You My
be.
Mummy thing.
Yeah, it's very, very like
Hard
I
to
say,
say.
almost everyone our age knows what that is,
Yeah,
even if they
and
don't.
rightly
like Doctor
so.
Who. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's brilliant. So absolutely brilliant. I'm so happy for it.
it's also
you
a bit of a sort of a teaching kids, like you say, because it's aimed sort of at kids. It's about responsibility because they've been given that power,
Yeah,
and it sort of shows how badly you can damage, like your families and thus the world.
I guess
know.
so. Yeah,
So
look after your mum.
Well, no, but it says but he's saying there isn't a boy or whatever who wouldn't tear the world apart, etc., etc.
It's
He's
such
saying.
a good line because it is true.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's
Especially
the
in the war and the whole
that's the primal thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
kids being evacuated and all that. Oh yeah,
it's genius.
it's all very nice. So, do we agree that? I mean, I'm counting Jack as one of the companions because I'd probably put him as the best performance if he wasn't. But I'd give Nancy the best sort of outside performance.
Yeah, are we saying there's a rule now that we don't really include companions when we talk about best performance?
Yeah, because I think it's a given. Also, because Jack has a lot of opportunities in the future to prove how brilliant he is, which he is, and we have said that he's excellent. But no, Nancy's like, top quality.
Nancy's
Bravo.
killer, absolute killer. I can't believe she's.
She's actually
21
better
years
than
old.
I remember her being, to be honest.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Constantine's really cool though. So a little shout out to him, and I love the sweat.
He doesn't. Oh yeah, okay, at the end, true.
I love the sweat on your brow, guy. It's really cool.
Oh, you know what I've just thought?
Yeah.
You know the old lady who comes back and says, "My legs grow back."
Yeah.
Is that the old lady in the 11th hour?
No, I'll have a look for it though, but it's definitely not. So 11th hour.
Look like her.
She might be like a famous actress. Shall I look into it for you?
I think
right
she.
now?
I definitely think I've seen her in something. Hang on a second. Let's have a look.
Da di da di da. The Doctor
I just
dances
read the
too.
11th.
Everybody does. The Doctor dances too. Doctor dances.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm just like creating noise so that people who are listening to the podcast.
Annette Crosby is her name.
Annette Crosby.
Let's have a look. Television. Oh no, she's not. That's mental.
I don't know. She reminds.
Never mind.
Grown back. I don't know.
I've definitely seen her in something. She must be. I mean, obviously, they get loads of famous actors to be in Doctor Who all the time, but
Yeah.
probably more in Russell Zero than Moffat's.
It's
Not
because
necessarily because it's more famous, but it's more of like the children in need kind of feeling, the getting the community involved kind of feel.
Sort of, but also I think it's a case of it being a more relatable kind of drama series. So I think a lot of actors would probably have wanted to be in it more. Because
Moffat would never put a random episode of Blue Peter on his episode, is what I mean.
Yeah, it's not as poppy.
Actually, I say that. Actually, Chibnall does it in Para 3, sort of, because he puts The Apprentice on and gets Richard Dawkins to come. Or not Richard Dawkins, what's his name? Brian Cox.
Oh yeah, but they
to come
still
on.
have famous people in it. It's not like it's a massive dip. It's just the Doctor Who becomes more cult.
It is a difference, though.
And pulpy. And so
Yeah.
they don't go for it in the same way with doing that. I mean,
Mm.
it doesn't matter. I mean, also, Moffat loves using unknowns. So it's like Matt Smith was unknown when he became Doctor Who. So
Oh, I see what you mean.
I don't think Moffat's as much as like a pop panderer.
I was gonna maybe not. I was gonna say he brought Jack on, but obviously that was technically Russell T's decision to bring him in. He just had to adapt him into his episode, which is pretty impressive to have been given that task.
I think he
to
was told
introduce
what the
a character.
backstory was and everything. I think Russell T had already like designed the character and said, "You just need to get us in there."
But that's
I mean,
tricky to get that right because he has to eventually make him a proper companion. So to
Of
start him
course.
off like that is beautifully done.
he nails it. It's mad to
Yeah.
think that you would trust another writer with
Mm.
bringing your companion. Of course,
I think
obviously,
Russell held Moffat in quite high regard at the time because he knew that Moffat had done a lot of other
he
little
said on
Doctor Who
the,
stuff.
I think it was the Girl in the Fireplace tweet along thing or something. Russell T
Yeah,
Davies said,
that was really good.
I knew this guy was like gonna take over from me from the second I got this script for The Empty Child.
Yeah, he would say that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean they're very nice to one another, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I suppose they would be. I think it's a bit weird that they don't seem to talk to Chibnall.
Well, why would they? He's just kind of
Well, 'cause
embarrassing.
He's a hack, haha. No, okay, come on. I don't want to join that. We'll get to those discussions another time.
Yeah.
So do you think? I know you were saying the scariest scene was the bit in the asylum sort of section. Do you think that's also the best scene?
It's the second best scene. I think probably the best scene is the bit where she says, "I am your mummy." It's so
Yeah, I think so too.
It's so sad.
This is what I mean. That they do. This is what I said at the beginning. They change like the feel so often without you realizing between it being really funny and then being really scary and then being really like heartbreaking and then really joyful suddenly.
Yeah,
it's an absolute roller coaster.
And there's like a
Such
sonic
a
gun.
movie. Yeah, yeah. Oh, such a god. Yeah, it's
And
such
the
like
whole-
a Spy Kids kind of gun.
Oh, it's great.
Where it looks and everything.
I'm surprised you can't buy a toy of it. Maybe you can.
Yeah, you definitely there definitely was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that'd be like easiest thing in the world to make.
Yeah.
And they sold it along with a pack of bananas.
So, are we going to rate this out of 10 then?
This episode?
Yeah. Have you got anything else you want to say first?
I don't think so. I'm gonna rate the episode like a high 9.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'd give the two-parter as a whole a 10.
You sure the whole two-parter isn't a 9?
No, I'm pretty sure the whole thing is like a
Is the whole
movie.
Is the whole thing as good as Dalek or Father's Day?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's as good as Father's Day.
If I was doing a best to worst list, I would personally put it at the bottom of those three. But I would
Yeah, so would I.
But I would still probably have to give it a 10.
I still think it's a 10.
Yeah, it is. I think there's a case of like being a bit not tired, but the Moffat episodes have had such a brilliant reception that there's always a part of you that kind of wants to underrate it a bit. But it's just like I think just accept it. It is perfect.
You can't deny most of his writing on Russell T Davies' era. I mean, we'll find out when we judge them all. But
yeah. But I mean, do you get what
he
I'm
very
saying?
rarely drops the ball.
Yeah, I think there's a reason that this is so good.
And this is probably the episode, the episode he put the most work into, because obviously it's a big deal to have to write such an important.
Well, to be given
episodes.
a two-parter, you've been given a two-parter.
At a pivotal role of a very important revival of a show that would have
Yeah.
terrified him. I can only imagine how horrible that would be.
Oh yeah, it would be absolutely disgusting.
But when we come to ranking all the episodes as a whole, when we get to it, at the moment, for me it goes Dalek, Father's Day, and this two-parter as a story.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see where the finale two-parter comes. I'm really not sure. Because I actually that's the two-parter I'm gonna find the most difficult to rank because I never quite know what to give it.
It's incredibly enjoyable, but it's very McCoy, especially the first part in how strange it is. Like, why does Russell T Davies decide that we're going to do all of these 21st century TV shows?
Yeah.
100,000 years later.
It won't age well. It's not going to age particularly well. At the moment, it's still aging
enjoyable.
fine because most of those shows are still kind of, at least other versions of those shows exist. So
they're in the public memory, aren't they?
Anyway, that two-part has been exhausting. So thankfully, next week is going to be so weird and so kooky and so funny that I can't wait.
I can't wait to see Mickey and Jack together, the boys.
Oh, that bin.
And the next episode is like where you really start feeling for Mickey even more.
Sorry, I know this is something I should mention in the next episode, but I've just realised, and we will mention it.
Oh, because Mickey puts his foot in the bin.
And bins is his thing. Bins are his family.
Because, in the last episode,
bins.
he uses the bin truck, doesn't he?
Is it a bin truck?
Well, we'll have to see, won't we?
No, I think it's more like I don't think it is. If it was, that would be awesome.
Yeah, he loves bins.
Yeah. Oh my god. I feel like we probably shouldn't be. It doesn't matter. They're a safe place to go.
Mickey has a safe place, and that's the bin. Yeah. It's because it's Rusty Davies' era. It's all about trauma, and is it
because he's putting him in the bin? It's meant to be a metaphor for the fact that Rose keeps fobbing him off.
Maybe, but I think it's that trauma, isn't it? Of the fact that in the first episode he was eaten by a bin.
Yeah.
So he's trying to overcome it. He's trying to reclaim the bin.
Maybe it's like a voodoo thing because he like obviously chucked that hand in the bin, and so he thinks the bin has punished him for it by eating him. And now he's like paying homage to the bins all the time.
Because that first bin was like, why have you put this really dangerous hand in me?
Yeah.
Why? I
the
feel
hand
violated.
When the bin became sentient and just started controlling every bin like a puppet.
I'm sure there's probably like a big finish for this.
Yeah, we're writing a comic for this.
Yeah,
it's gonna blow up.
Yeah, this is much more comic.
Oh my god. Alright, cool. Done. This has been Outta 10. Thank you so much for listening, and quite frankly, I'm as shocked as you are that we're still doing this. If, by some miracle, you've enjoyed this, do leave a comment, or give a suggestion for what we should talk about next. You can also find us on Twitter at Outta_10, or send us an email to Outta10podcast@gmail.com. We hope you can join us for our next review of Doctor Who, and do keep an eye out for some film and music discussions coming up in the following weeks. See you soon.